What's up, everybody? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at the DC Mcfarlane Multiverse. This is the Max Fleischer Superman. Oh man, I can't tell you guys how excited I am to have this figure, to have a 6 to 7 inch representation of this specific Superman is extremely important to me personally. This is a figure I was really looking forward to, like probably one of my most anticipated figures of the year. And I think came out pretty solid. But we're going to get to that. Quick little ODC backstory. This is super important to me because this is the first, I don't know, not even cartoon, but one of the first things I ever remember seeing on television, period. Kind of, I don't know, started the whole me into superheroes thing was this Max Fleischer Superman series. I love this this look for him. It was actually, I think his look was actually based on a real person, and that's I don't know, his anatomy, the way he's set up, he looked like an actual guy, but just happened to have all these powers, which was really cool. And he was a little bit different with powers back in 1941. He didn't have all the powers that he has now, which he's evolved as a character heavily. It has Superman, but the art style, very classic, very squinty eyes. It just, I don't know, there's just something about this look that just really grabs me and just makes me want to hold on, I don't know. It's definitely nostalgia talking. This is what started it all for me with superheroes. This was the first superhero I ever remember watching, period. One of the first characters I remember first watching, and Superman's always had a pretty big impact on me. So, and really what started my love for DC. It started here. And then when it came to toys, it was Shazam, because he was the first toy I ever had. So, moving on. I've gushed enough here. Here's the original. You can get they have the Blu-ray here. I'll just kind of leave that up in the background. I just kind of wanted to show that with this because it was fitting. But first piece of accessories that he comes with his trading card, which is really nice adaptation of the look for Superman here in his classic animation. On the back, you can pause that and read it if you want to. Nice little read up there. And Superman in Technicolor. All right. He comes with his obligatory display base with the DC logo that you can barely see, which is also off-centered, by the way. I always think that's funny. He also comes with two open hands. I almost said gripping hands, but two posturing open hands. So you could have him like holding up a tank or something like that, or pressing up against a wall, or pushing somebody, or going for a handshake. Nice to meet you. Going for a high five. There's a lot of things that you can do with this. Flying poses. They are rather large. We'll get to that elephant in the room in a little bit, but they are rather large. Let me scoot that out of the way. Now, bringing in the figure here. Oh, yes. I mean, how much better of a likeness does this get to the original cartoon? This has got to be one of the best Superman accuracy head sculpts I've seen. Or accurate head sculpts. And it looks so amazing. They got even the belt right. The oval for the belt correct. They got the non-painted loopholes correct. The boots look really great. He's on this awesome body. It's so good. I think it's the Crisis body, Crisis Earth 2 Superman body, which I still would like to get that Superman. I've seen some people comment that he doesn't have an S on the back of his cape. That is actually accurate. He did not have an S in the cartoon, so this is correct. He does come with a soft goods wired cape, and it is wonderfully done. Kind of have him in just kind of like a neutral pose right now, but I mean, you can really get it, you know, floating and flying up in the air if you want to. Give him that, you know, that awesome kind of, you know, flying in the wind, floating in the wind, flautising. I don't know what that word, flautis, uh, floating in the air look, which looks really great. I love the red for the cape. It's not too dark or anything like that. It's not also very see-through. You can't see my hand through the cape, so that's really nice too. Obviously, I think if you hold it up to direct light, you'll probably be able to see something because there are these like pits right here. It's like pitted on the inside, and I think that's to help the cape breathe, or it's just the material, how it's kind of set up. But I think it looks really good. So I'm really, really pleased with this. Couldn't be happier. He poses pretty well. Let's get his articulation out of the way really quick. So his head is on a ball peg. It can look up a little bit, but due to the sculpting of the actual head itself, it does kind of get in the way. So you're going to have to utilize some of that ab crunch to kind of get him to really want to go in a flying pose. I wish there was some way to rectify that. I almost want to say if there was some really cool engineering, if a toy company, and here's just a little idea, rant. If a toy company could get kind of like what drop down legs do to the neck and being able to utilize a cohesive neck so it just kind of lines right back up, but being able to pull the head up and then move it back. I mean, that's something simple that you could absolutely do to get full range of motion and not have it look like he's a psycho, you know, like his neck either has this big gaping hinge joint there. Keep the ball peg, but have the ball peg kind of move up in like a 2-set click motion. So like how you would engineer it would be like a click here and then a click up there, and then you'd be able to move the head back and it would still look cohesive and it would still line up. And it wouldn't look like his head's falling off. That's something a toy company should do or should have done at this point. I don't know why it took me to think of that, but, you know, drop down legs, utilize the same engineering for the neck, and it can absolutely work across the board. That's just my idea. Maybe I just gave somebody a free $1 million idea. I don't know. Probably. That's all I'm good for these days. Anyway. Getting to the rest of the head articulation, his head can tilt really well side to side. Looks really, really good. Oh yeah, we got some turkeys right there. That's some great stuff. So head range of motion looks really good. You can also swivel. I'm taking too long to do this. He's got butterfly joints. Swivelly loo. I don't know who that is, but yeah. Arms can move up about that far and down. Full 360 rotation in the arm if you needed to, but why would you want to snap his arm? I don't know. And I'm not snapping his neck either, so don't even try that because I don't want to hurt Superman. Bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow, which it looks really nice and smooth. Very pleased with that. I guess it gets a little ugly right here, but who cares? We're going to do this again. Swivel at the wrist, and you have to kind of like wide joint the hinge. So you got to kind of like move this, then swivel that, then get it to do what you want, you know, and then swivel the hand and do all these annoying swivels just to get him to do, you know, damn you, Stella. Anyway, okay, we're not going to do that right now. Swivel at the wrist. He does have an ab crunch, which goes back. Still Mcfarlane, woe is me, can't go forward. Ab crunch, can tilt side to side. Can swivel at the waist, very clean with the diaper. I love it. So good. Leg goes forward. And it actually looks natural with the diaper, I think. I've always had that kind of opinion. Oops, sorry, Max. Leg goes back. Upper thigh swivel, anatomically correct. Double jointed. Oh, yeah, listen to that. Oh, you snapped my neck. Oh, I broke my leg. Oh, I broke my narc. My narc? My neck. Anyway, there you go with that. He kind of has a boot swivel. It's moving a little bit. I don't know if that's good, if that's supposed to happen, but both are jiggling. I'm not going to mess with that because I don't want this to break. Anyway, foot goes forward. Foot does go back. So pointy I can't talk tonight. Pointy toe, pointy heely. He does have an ankle pivot. And he does have toe articulation, 2 peg holes, and a partridge in a pear tree. Moving in, let's get cluck close. I don't know what cluck close is, but I know what up close is, and that's his face right there. Squinty eyes looks really good. Some people have issues with the squinty eyes. They're like, oh, I wish he had a little bit of pupil. No, absolutely not. No pupils needed here. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. I love the hair sculpt. Very, very, very classic Superman. Obviously, he's kind of always had the little curl in the front. Love it. Back of the head looks clean. Oh my God, I can't talk. Ears look proportionate. Jaw long. That big, nice, strong jaw. Let's just take a look at that and that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you gotta love it. The S looks really good. I've seen some people kind of point out that the S is not accurate. Oh, he doesn't have this little sharp pointy thing. Oh, he doesn't have that sharp pointy thing. He kind of does right there, and he kind of does right there if you look closely enough. It looks smooth, but when you look up close and personal, especially like right here, I mean, it does, I guess in some iterations it does point, and then others it doesn't. So when you look right here, it kind of points a little bit. But you look at other ones, I wish I could zoom this in. I'm so used to iPhones, I just want to do this. But there are other ones where it does point. So this one doesn't, that one does. It absolutely does. He does have pupils here. I do know that. It does have pupils as Clark Kent, but I mean, when you look at that, you can't see shit, so that doesn't help. But trust me, there are tons of scenes where he's squintied. So I like the squinty. I think it looks more classic. The S, like I said, the S logo looks really good. It's nice and centered. No problems there. I like the actual lack of paint here, but then I like the yellow for the buckle. Everything else is pretty much just plastic on him. Paint for the hair, the eyebrows, the lips, the eyes, S logo, yellow. Everything else pretty much just plastic. But it works. It really does work. The wired cape, like I said, is really well done. I really do like this wired cape. And I think they are really nailing how they tuck this in. So like if I drape it over his shoulders here, look how clean that looks. It looks so good and so clean. Oh, it's so good. I'm telling you, man, like people really don't know, or, I get there's a lot of collectors out there that like, oh, I don't really like soft goods with my figures. It takes away from the sculpt. But you don't get functionality. Like Black Series collectors, please understand that if we had wired capes, they would look much more cohesive and functional if they have a wire in them and you can manipulate them and make them look a certain way. You don't need sculpted folds because the folds are naturally there. Just you got to trust me on this. I know there's a lot of people that like it, and to each their own. I get it. I'm not telling people what to like, But I'm just telling you, they would look really good if Hasbro started doing them, and they won't do it. But, you know. Although they did do it with the Ronin figure, so who knows what we'll get. But I don't know. There's just something about, like, especially superhero figures. Like, you've got to have wired capes nowadays. You have to have them. Marvel Legends still will not do them. It baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. You spend more money on more plastic, which probably costs more than just putting a wired cape together. It drives me nuts. Anyway, the figure overall, like I said, that's pretty much it for sculpt detail. I think it's fantastic. The wired cape is fantastic. You can manipulate it. You can get him into flying poses. You know, like I said, you can have this like flowing. Let's do some funky stuff here. Let's get some funk out. Like Deathy with a. We're going old school, baby. Yes, sir. Old school with Deathy Rose here. We're going to get some flow up in here with Superman. Yes. Anyway. Okay. Enough of Dusty. And we could do the 2 fists. He is a little loose in the butterfly joint. So that's a little unfortunato there. Did I just lose my light? What's going on here? My light! Okay, anyway, I'm back. One of my lights just went out randomly. I don't know why. But it did. Let's see if it stays on. We'll have to wait on that one. But the flying pose, like I said, I would say that and I kind of do agree with this a little bit on some end, but overall I think the fit and finish looks really good. There's no wire that runs down here. I kind of don't have a problem with that, because if you do run a wire down and around, it's going to make this thing too heavy and bulky, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. So I don't have a problem with it drooping, because it's kind of like flowing in the wind, He's floating in the wind. But yeah, I like it overall. I think it's really good for a $23 figure. You can't beat it. And you can really get those fists. I mean, if he's really angry, he's getting those fists in. He's coming for you. You're gonna get the knuckles. The knuckles. And then I guess we can go for the pose. We'll do the pose. Why not? Here's the pose. And we'll bring in a flight stand, and we'll get the pose going. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back with the pose. The closest I can get to him in this pose without having to modify his torso piece, because he can't really crunch in. That he really kind of needs it to crunch, so I kind of had to shift him to the side a little bit and just maneuver it a little bit, but also not having a thigh swivel kind of hinders the figure. I really wish Mcfarlane would give us thigh swivels. There's no reason why he can't do a high thigh swivel. Maybe a little bit of slight re-engineering here, but it would have been nice to have that. Okay, as far as size comparisons go, here he is with 2 Lukes. We got to bring in the 2 Lukes. We've got a kind of kit-bashed Jedi Luke on the left, and then the Dagobah Luke on the right from the Black Series. Okay, up next, we've got 2 Classified Series figures. We've got Obligatory Duke on the left, and then on the right, we've got Tiger Force Outback. And next up, continuing with the Hasbro theme, we've got 2 Marvel Legends. We've got the Ben Reilly Spider-Man on the left, and then on the right, we've got the X-Factor Cyclops. Okay, up next, we've got a NECA figure in the Phantom on the left, and then on the right, we've got the Transformers Legacy Skids. Okay, and next up, we've got a Marvel Legend in the Punisher War Journal Punisher on the right, and then on the left, we've got the Action Force Desert Condor. Okay, next up, we've got 2 Jada Toys figures. We've got the Universal Monsters Invisible Man on the left, and then on the right, we've got the Wolfman. Okay, next up, we've got an Operation Monster Force Dracula on the right, and then on the left, we've got maybe some foreshadowing with Mattel taking over the license next year. We've got the Masterverse 40th Anniversary He-Man. All right, next up, we've got 2 Multiverse figures from Mcfarlane. We've got Ghostmaker on the left, and then on the right, we've got Grifter. All right, and last up, we've got two other Multiverse Mcfarlane action figures. We've got the newer version of Shazam from Page Punchers on the left, and then on the right, we've got the newer, more modern Shazam on the right. So for my final thoughts on the DC Mcfarlane Multiverse, Max Fleischer, Superman. Oh man, like I said, this hits me in the feels, but objectively, I think it's pretty darn accurate to what we were supposed to get. Love the face sculpt. Love the paint apps where they are. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of paint apps, but it really does work. The extra hands I think work. Yeah, the open hands are a little bit big, but it's okay. Sometimes in animation and even in art itself, proportions are a little bit, exaggerated here and there, but I don't think it's that big of a deal for the figure itself. But yeah, I really like this figure. It's definitely going to be in my potential top figures of the year. Getting the accurate look for the face really does help quite a bit. And I like the card it came with. Pretty simple stuff. I always like little things like, cards being given with action figures and such. I'm just going to move the card out of the way. But yeah, he poses well enough. I still would like thigh swivels. I still would like, I don't know, a better wrist situation going on there with an articulated point. I still think that my idea for that neck joint would work pretty darn well. And it could utilize some better Superman poses, but I think he poses well enough. The wired cape is fantastic. It's kind of sad to see that we're getting wired capes now, and Mcfarlane's essentially saying goodbye to the license, unfortunately. But other than that, I would give this a 2 thumbs up. I think this is, go get them. If you have any sort of connection or even just enjoy the Max Fleischer animated series shorts, then this will hit you right in the gut as far as that goes. And I think they did a really good job. So kudos to Mcfarlane for even giving us this look. This is a look that we haven't gotten too many action figures of. So I'm very pleased with it. Let me know what you guys think. Are you going to get this figure? Are you going to pass on him? But let me know in the comments below. And yeah, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That does help the channel grow. If you do want to help the channel additionally, you can become a channel member. Everything is in the description box below if you want to become a Jive Turkey. Other than that, thank you to Terry Turner and thank you to Woodman29 for your continued support. Thank you so much for your help. And yeah, that's it for this one. Go get him. He's a lot of fun. And I'll see you guys on the flip side.